disconnected. I guess the internet went out. And so anyway, I'm back on. I'm going to continue where I left off. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch my audio as well because I feel like you can hear me better if I disconnect out of my AirPods. So, so we will just go ahead and continue. Let me go ahead and disconnect though.
Okay, I am hoping that this is going to sound better. So anyway, all right, so what I was saying is that, they can't discriminate against you or fire you because
Of a, gosh darn it, it's doing it again. Okay. I apologize, guys. Anyway, they cannot discriminate or fire you because you have a religious exemption to any vaccines, because then they'll be liable for suit. So it's just important that everybody knows what their rights are, and because the power of the law is in your old hands. So that's what people need to remember. So just moving forward, I mentioned audits earlier, and the audits, the first ones in Arizona, are expected to be finished June 14th. Does anybody else know what June 14th is? That's Trump's birthday. Could be a coincidence, but you of course know what I think about the idea of coincidence, one after the other, after the other, after the other. So it's like I encourage you to look at all the details. Okay. So anyway, we have so far that the audits are going to be finishing up soon. At least the first one. It's going to be mind blowing. We have the Fauci emails, and we also have the speech that Trump gave. And the one that I'm talking about, where he said he'll be back sooner than you think, is not the official speech that he gave at the convention. It was one that was recorded, like privately. So anyway, who knows what plans he has? But if you go to Google Maps and you try to look up the U.S. Capitol or even the White House, on many of those maps, it comes up with them both saying temporarily closed. Isn't that strange? And every night, every light in the house, around the house, outside of the house just shuts off. Wouldn't that be, strange for there to be no lights around the White House if the leader of the free world was in there and his family? I'm just piecing things together. It just doesn't, it's not what it seems. For instance, there was a video, I think I've already mentioned this, but I want to mention it again for anybody that missed it. There was a video where it appeared like Biden was getting off of Air Force One and walking, across the field to go and graciously meet some reporters and answer questions. Well, the reporters had one of those microphones they were holding up to him, the ones that you hold up in the air, the fuzzy ones. And you look at Biden's hand as he's talking, and it was so obviously it was on a green screen. You could see where the microphone was, closest to the camera, and Biden's hand was behind it. Well, you should be able to perceive that his hand was behind the microphone, therefore, the microphone was disrupting part of the view of his hand. But what you actually see is his hand over it, like in a very 3D way. It was just obvious the whole thing was make believe. It was a green screen, artificial simulation type of deal. And I have a feeling a lot of the times that we see him, that's what he's doing. So who knows what Trump has up his sleeve. I know I'm excited to find out. I also know that it's not Trump alone. I know that, yes, military might be involved, but it's us too. I mean, people have to catch on. People really have to learn their lesson. Number one, you don't sit idle while you know your rights are being taken away in the mindset of, oh, well, I'm just going to focus on my life and hope somebody else takes care of it. Because what happens is you don't get them all taken away overnight. little by little by little. And you have that gnawing feeling inside telling you that that's what's happening, but you just don't have the time or the bravado to deal with it. But you're sure someone else out there does. And they bank on that. So you do that a little bit at a time, and boom, before you know it, you can't even step on a plane unless you show proof that you took an experimental drug. That is genetic modification using, spike proteins in certain. And I'm back again. Internet has been very, very annoying, and I apologize for that. But let's see if we can try that again. Okay. Essentially, it is absolutely genetic modification using spike proteins and certain primers that affect the way that the cells from there on out, because the way that they function and form is based on a certain coding, genetic coding. And, if you can change that with these certain proteins, which the proteins are essentially sort of like the building blocks that form the code, then you change the way that the systems function. And there's word that a lot of women who receive the vaccine are now getting letters in the mail saying that they need to be tested for cancer. They need to be tested for cervical cancer after having the vaccine. So that sounds like a lot of fun. And I'm sure that's not the only thing that's in store. We have no idea. But anyway, one of the last things that I want to mention is that I saw a video of a military man, and he was essentially saying, I'm going to try to rephrase it the best I can. It was graduation for those that are ascending to different ranks, if you will. And whenever they graduate, they have their ceremonies, and there's also sort of, awards and things that are signed off by the President of the United States, the acting President of the United States. Each one of those, according to his witness, was signed by President Trump. Each one of them. So let's just see what happens, folks. I'm sorry for the internet problems today. It's storming really bad outside, but I hope that there's some decent information here. And we will be right back as soon as we can with more information. I implore you to think critically and act logically. And remember that you are American, but if you're listening to this overseas, you're a world citizen. And freedom isn't free. So let's just see what happens, y'all. All right. Bye, guys. It's Tara signing off.